You know, I was driving on the road today and something happened that made me think. And I came to this conclusion that it taught me something about human nature. Traffic isn't just cars moving. First off, I think the concept of traffic is such a stupid concept because we create traffic. We create our own traffic. Traffic doesn't have to be a thing if we don't want it to be. Anyways, that's a topic for another day. Traffic isn't just cars moving. It's ego, patience, fear, and control moving at 70 miles per hour. Now, as I was saying in the beginning, I noticed that when people drive, especially on the highway, a lot of people speed up when someone is trying to merge or when a gap starts closing. Have y'all ever had that happen? Like, for some reason, like you're trying to turn or you're trying to get into another lane, and then it seems to be that the person notices you're trying to get into a lane, so then they'll start speeding and going in front and purposely doing that, and then there's like no space behind. The only space there was in the moment, as if you were moving off reaction instead of observing. No, most 9 times out of 10, you're gonna look, and it's gonna be like, damn, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like they're driving at a distant pace, and it's like all of a sudden they just speed up just to make sure that you can't be in front of them. Have you ever had that happen to you? I've had that happen to me multiple times. But it's just something that I just like, why? Why do people do that? So now I sat there, because it happened again today. There's this guy in this, I observed one and it happened to me. On the way to an interview, I was getting an interview for a job. Also 95 was stupid. I was on my way to interview, and there was this car back there, by the way. It was back there. And I'm turning on my blinkers to be like, oh yeah, I'm about to merge in here. It, bro, goes in and speeds up to get barely right in front of me, just to make sure I couldn't do it. And so I'm just saying, like, damn, I felt the little bit of irritation and anger in my system, and I said I had to shut it down quickly, because I was like, I'm not getting mad at this. I'm not gonna lose my patience over this. So I said, okay, cool. And I looked for another, observed, and waited for another opportunity. I had another opportunity, I took it. But it just made me think, like, what was the point of that? Another example is there's this guy, he was an older man. He had a sick Porsche. He had a 911 Cayman, I think. That shit was fire, bro. I want one of them anyway. I saw it driving. And as it was driving, I saw he looked impatient, like me. And I was like, huh? I didn't know the lane merged, so I was like, okay, whatever. Let me just let you go. And I'm going in front of me. He just looked so irritated and so like restless, like, you know. And I was just like, okay. And I was observing, and I was thinking, is the Porsche helping to boost his ego to feel this way, that he can just zoom? Because as the traffic light before, because at the end of, I don't know if y'all know, like at certain like exits during certain time of peak traffic, there's like a traffic light that like goes red to green, red to green, red to green, to let a car out at a time. It's like as he went, it was red and he just went, bro. Like it turned red and he went, and I went on his light. So we just went red, so it went green, sorry, and then he just zoomed in and just went, and I was just like, okay, bro, shit, you got it. But for me, an example, if there is space behind me, I let someone get behind me, right? If there's space, like a large amount of space behind me, I'll usually speed up and let you get behind me. But if there's not enough space, I usually just let them get in front of me, because I doubt someone else is gonna do it. Like same interview, I had to wait for so long to turn into the plaza, and it wasn't until someone stopped and let me turn that it happened. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. I promise you. But I usually just assume, like, whenever something like that happens and they just speed up, I usually just assume that they got places to be. I always be like, they must got places to be. They must be that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But there are some people see somebody trying to merge and instantly are just like, nah, bro, you can't get in front of me. And then I really sat there and just thought about it. This is after months and years of driving. It's that ego. It's that urgency. Is that just human nature at play? Now, I don't always think it's a conscious thing. I don't think every person is sitting there like, oh, I need to dominate this other driver that's in front of me or behind me or on this lane next to me. I need to show him my dominant masculine energy that I can take over like this and I rule you, peasant, right? I think sometimes it's just a reaction of the body. I think that's just the natural instinct of human beings. It's a survival thing. People feel like they're losing their position. People feel like someone is taking space from them. They feel rushed. They feel blocked. They feel like if they let one person in, they have to feel everybody in. And I understand that because I felt like that way when I used to move off reaction instead of observing. I used to be like, man, I gotta let all y'all in now. Because people would do that. Like, I let one person in, then I just feel like two more people invite themselves into my same lane. I'm just like, yo, I don't even bother him. Why are you two pulling up? But I feel like that's just scarcity, you know? That's control. That's the ego reacting before wisdom has a chance to speak. Because most people are moving and living life from a reactive standpoint instead of an observing standpoint. Once you make the switch, and you could hear what I'm saying, but you won't really understand until you do. Once you make the switch from a reactor to an observer, life becomes so much more peaceful, it's not even funny. But as I was saying, I feel like ego makes everything personal. Ego has such a weird way of making neutral things feel personal. Someone passes you and your ego says someone challenged you. They're just passing you, bro. Like, ain't nothing gonna happen to you, right? Someone merges and the ego says they disrespected you. You know? And there are times where people just do some stupid shit. Like, they'll do some sharp turn into your lane or just do a sharp turn, like, to be having no regard, and you honk your horn instinctively, which I try not to honk my horn because it's like, I don't want to stoop to your level. Like, I don't like honking my horn. It's just lame. Like, it's just road rage, and road rage never ends in something good. It never ends in something good. It never ever ends in something good. It never does. Ever. I've never seen road rage end in something good. Just two people being as ignorant as possible toward each other. It makes no sense. But someone drives slow, and trust me, I know. Someone drives slow and your ego is like, man, they're in your way. And it's on purpose. Why? And not unless it's just an older person who just is older and just wants to drive and drive safe, which is fair. But most of the time, bro, people are just trying to get somewhere. And I feel like I have to remember that, like, not everything is about me and not everything is a battle. Not everything needs a reaction. And that's what I want to teach people. Like, you don't have to react if you truly don't want to. You could choose not to react. You could feel the reaction stirring up and say no. And just breathe in, breathe out, and let it go. You can let it go. I feel like you'll live a better life if you just let it go. Why do we let these minuscule things bother us? Like driving, right? I've been tying it more to something like water and a rock, right? Listen, a rock has to resist everything. A rock has to block, hold position, and prove it can't be moved. That's like 90% of people, right? But water, on the other hand, assumes formlessness, like Law 48 of the 48 Laws of Power. Water keeps its direction and adapts. Now, when I say laws of power, I don't mean in a corny way, like, you will use this and rule over every single person and trick them and overpower them. No, you should read just to read to understand, because it makes you a better person and allows you to be a more understanding and more wisdom-filled person. The art of the Stoic. Now, when applied to driving, if there isn't space, flow. If there isn't, adjust. If there is, you can flow. If there isn't, adjust and regain the flow. Living a successful life is all about staying in the flow, being in the zen. The flow will allow you to reach to better things because you don't let your environment and surroundings bother you. You keep gratitude, you keep patience, you keep happiness, you keep a smile on your face, and let the world just be the world. You don't have to accept what's going on in the world. You can acknowledge it, you don't have to accept it. You can stay focused in your own little world. You're a lot happier in your own little world, I promise you. If someone needs to go in front of you, let them go. If a lane closes, find another route. You don't have to turn every small inconvenience into a war with the other person or with yourself. A calm driver understands that there will always be another opening, and that can be applied to life as well. And that's not just driving. A calm person understands that there will always be another opening. If the opening that you wanted so bad if that isn't given to you, it wasn't meant for you. And an even better opening is around the corner. And I feel like the driving was a way for me to tie it back into life. The opening we may say we want may not be what is really for us. We may be deserving of something even better, but we won't know because we're so stuck in our ego and stuck in our ways of this specific thing is us. So then let's say you get that specific thing, then you're like, man, I don't even want this, man. This shit miserable, bro. Compared to if you read the signs and said, I don't think this is for me, or God or higher power, whatever you believe in, says this isn't for you, and denies it, blocks the blessing, which really was a curse in disguise, and you a week later get something that's even better and more what you wanted and even better than you expected. See how the way the world works in mysterious ways when you just think from a positive mindset and you don't let anything bother you, right? And I'm not saying it's like I'm perfect, bro. Like, I'm saying driving made me check myself too. That's the reason why this video is even coming up, because I realized back when I was in my more reactive phase of life, which is majority of my life, I used to react the same way. I used to do the same shit. So it's like when you swap the perspective and remove the bias, it's like, damn, we're all really just getting mad at nothing but driving. Like we all trying to get home safely or get to where we trying to be safely to see our families at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So why harbor this anger? People have died over driving because of road rage, bro. We were just trying to get home to our families. People have lost their lives over that. That's sad. That's a sad thing to think of. You know? It made me put the driving thing into other aspects of my life. It made me say, am I doing this in other areas, which I was, and still am sometimes? Am I fighting for positions I don't even need? I was, and I stopped, and life has been so much more peaceful. Am I taking things personally that aren't personal? Yes. Living life from a point of not taking things personally from anybody will make you feel so much better because you don't have a special vendetta against this person for no fucking reason. Am I trying to win moments that don't matter? That is an important one. Sometimes peace comes from letting somebody go ahead and realize that you didn't lose anything from letting them go ahead of you. You lost nothing. Nothing was lost to you. You were able to make it to your job on time, maybe earlier, or even just a little bit late, but you got there alive. Some people didn't make it because they were thinking from the ego. So think from the higher, not the ego. The lesson I took from it is simple. Don't let the ego drive your car. And by your car, I mean your life. The car can be used as the actual car, or metaphorically, which is what I'm thinking of, your life. Don't let your ego drive your life. Stay aware, stay safe, stay calm, let people move, protect your peace. Don't let small things turn into identity battles. Don't let your ego drive your car. The goal isn't necessarily to be passive. The goal is to be centered enough so that every little thing doesn't control your state, if anything at all. You remain happy through the quote unquote worst day ever. That's the greatest thing ever. To remain peaceful and full of gratitude and humility when everything could seem to just break you down in one day. That's the greatest thing that's the greatest thing ever. Traffic is human nature at 70 miles per hour. You know? Some people treat the one car length like it's a personal war. Ego can turn a merge into disrespect. Sometimes, y'all, peace comes from realizing you didn't lose anything from letting someone go ahead. I have to say it again for you to really understand it. Sometimes, peace comes from realizing you didn't lose anything by letting someone go ahead. I promise you. And to close out, driving taught me this. Not everything needs to be won. Sometimes the strongest move is to stay calm, let the person go, and keep your peace. We can apply this to fights or anything. So many fights that have ended in tragedy or anything such, or ended in your ego getting crushed, could have been avoided by just not participating in it at all. Just not being involved at all. Stop letting the ego dictate your actions. Stop letting the road dictate your responses. Peace will be always better by just letting the person go than you reacting and moving from your ego. I want y'all to live life more observant, to remove the ego as much as possible, to live life from an observant perspective, because the observant perspective will allow you to appreciate life much more and to stop moving off such trivial, small things that just ruin your mood if you let it, when you could just be a positive person all day. Driving taught me something about human nature, and it taught me that not everything needs to be won. Sometimes it is best to stay calm, let the person go, and keep your peace.